Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Chicago, in person and at home. My name is David Leckban. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a worship associate from our worship program and music committee. And I'm honored to welcome you to worship this morning along our worship team. Tony Pham, delivering the sermon. Liz Tolbert, our Director of Religious Education. And Dr. Adam Odell, our Director of Music Ministry. First Unitarian Church has been a home for progressive religion in Chicago and beyond since 1836. The church sits on the western shore of Lake Michigan, south of the Chicago River. We honor the indigenous peoples for whom these are unceded ancestral homelands, as well as the diverse and vibrant indigenous American communities who make their home here today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share, and the mission to grow our souls and heal the world. Whether you just stepped into this church for the first time or for the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whether you have a PhD, a GED, or no degree, you are welcome here. No matter your race or who you love, or how much money you do or don't have, you are welcome here. If you are a visitor, we're excited to have you with us. Please let us know that you were here by filling out a visitor card and dropping it in the offering plate. If anyone has a joy or sorrow that you would like to have read aloud, please fill out a card and give it to one of the ushers as they collect the offering. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like the Care and Support Committee to know about privately, you may put cards in the sanctuary box at the back anytime. For some announcements, please join us after the service in Chris Moore Parlor, up the stairs to your left, for refreshments and good conversation. Also after service today, we have the Pathways to Membership class at 11:15 a.m. in the VOV library. For those who have additional announcements, please feel free to discuss it during our coffee hour in Chris Moore Parlor. And please check the order of service for all other announcements and information. Now, please join me in reading our covenant as we light our chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Morning. Let me tell you about a story of a dining table. It didn't have a name to itself, but it belonged to a family named Björsta. Came from the far countries of IKEA. It was born out of Vietnamese labor, probably made in a Vietnamese factory because on the thing it says made in Vietnam. And probably very soon after its creation, it traveled on a container ship across the Pacific all the way to Texas, land of cowboys, where it resided in a North Dallas suburban IKEA superstore. There it was purchased, ironically, by another Vietnamese family that just arrived in the States a few months prior, looking to start a new life in the country of freedom. This past July 31st, that family I'm glad to be part of celebrated our 10th anniversary of being in this country, and that table is, I hope, already sitting another family's place. As the 10th anniversary neared, I realized this table had accompanied all of my journey in the States. This table is where I did my homework, where I ate, where I had conversations, where I had my arguments, but it provided a lot of things that a house would. One thing it could not give me was a home. A home is not something you can buy at IKEA, even though IKEA may advertise it to be so. A home is so much more. So come, let us worship. Let us ask together, what is home?
Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our opening hymn. It's number 1020 in the Teal Hymnal, Wo Ya Ya. It's 1020 in the Teal Hymnal. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. At this time, I would like to invite any people who are young at heart or any children to join me up front for story time. Thank you, Tom. Hi, guys. I'm so happy to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. How's everyone doing? Good, good. Alrighty. Today's story is called Finding Home. Nope, it's not over here. Can't find it. Have you guys seen my home? No, I'm serious. Have you guys seen my home? No? Have you guys seen my home? It's weird, I can't find it. Anybody back there? Have you guys seen my home? No? Okay. Well, most days, I know where my phone is. Some days, I know where my keys are. But I can't seem to find my home. So hopefully you guys can help me today. You know, one Saturday morning, Tony woke up and said, "Today's the day. We're finally going to find the perfect home." Andrea grabbed a map. Barbara packed snacks because Barbara knows nobody should go looking for anything on an empty stomach. Adam carried a flashlight. David insisted they needed a compass. Corey said, "I bought a rope. I don't know why, but adventures always have a rope." Tabitha rolled her eyes and said, "Can we just go already?" Little Max was so excited he kept asking, "Is it over there? Is it over there?" And Amos? Well, Amos didn't say much. He just smiled. So off they went. They climbed a hill. Nope. They crossed the bridge. Not here. They searched a park, a library, even the grocery store. They looked everywhere. After hours and hours, everyone was tired. Tony sat down. Andrea sighed. Barbara passed out the last of the snacks. Corey finally admitted, "Okay, maybe a rope wasn't necessary." Then Max asked the biggest question of the day. If we can't find home, where are we going to belong? Nobody answered right away. Then Amos looked around. He looked at every face. He smiled and said, "What if we've been carrying home with us this whole time?" Everyone looked confused. Amos said, "Did anyone laugh with you today?" "Yes." "Did anyone help you today?" "Yes." "Did anyone share with you?" "Yes." "Did anyone make you feel safe?" "Yes." "Did anyone care that you were here?" "Yes." Amos smiled even bigger. Then maybe this is what home feels like. Not a building, not an address, not even a house. Home is the place where we know your name, where someone notices when you're missing, when people celebrate when you're happy, when they sit beside you when you're sad. Home is where people choose one another. Sometimes we spend so much time looking for home that we forget to notice that it's been growing all around us. Every smile, every song we sing together, every hug, every helping hand, every time someone says, "We're glad you're here." That's how a community becomes home. So today, if you ever feel a little lost, don't just look for a place. Look for the people who remind you that you belong. Because sometimes the way home is through each other. Thank you. Now we send the kids off to class with love, and we invite you to turn and greet your neighbor.
we now take up our weekly offering. Your generosity supports the important ministries of this church. Each month, we choose a community partner with whom we share a collection 50-50. This month, our partner is Austin Scholars Offering. The Austin Scholars Awards program is dedicated to empowering college-bound students from the Austin neighborhood by providing financial support, mentorship, and encouragement as they embark on their higher education journey. Working collaboratively with high school counselors and college coaches, they aim to identify students who are committed to achieving a college degree and would benefit from our program's resources. Their mission is to inspire students to stay in school, believe in their potential, and embrace the transformative opportunities a college education offers. Through their support, they strive to foster academic success and personal growth in the critical sophomore year of college. Thank you for your generosity toward our shared ministry in this church and in the world. Our offering will now be gratefully received. For our reading this week, I'll be reading a poem from David White titled, "The House of Belonging." I awoke this morning in the gold light, turning this way and that, thinking for a moment. It was one day like any other, but the veil had gone from my darkened heart, and I thought, it must have been the quiet candlelight that filled my room. It must have been the first easy rhythm with which I breathed myself to sleep. It must have been the prayer I said speaking to the otherness of the night. And I thought, this is the good day you could meet your love. This is the gray day someone close to you could die. This is the day you realize how easily the thread is broken between this world and the next. And I found myself sitting up in the quiet pathway of light, the tawny, close-grained cedar burning round me like fire, and all the angels of this housely heaven ascending through the first roof of the light the sun has made for me. This is the bright home in which I live. This is where I ask my friends to come. This is where I want to love all the things it has taken me so long to learn to love. This is the temple of my adult aloneness. and I belong to that aloneness, as I belong to my life. There is no house. There is no house. There is no house like the house of belonging.
Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our centering song. I'll sing it once through and then you can join me. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart, I sit beside you. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I take your hand. I hold you close. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart. Here in my heart. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart. Harmonies are good. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, love. Here in my heart. I sit beside you. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart. Thank you. You may be seated.
Can y'all hear me well in the back? All good. All right. I want to share with you a bit of what my family does as part of our Vietnamese folk tradition. In the little kitchen that we had in our first apartment in the States, the dining table sits adjacent, the little kitchen that we had the dining table. We had a little incense holder and some fruits. That's where Ông Tao sits, or the kitchen god, or translated literally and affectionately, Mr. Apple. He's the god that oversees the domestic and family affairs and reports to the Jade Emperor, and every so often my mother gives him fruits to eat and we eat the leftovers. This is probably going to be my favorite tradition, because the kitchen god and the Jade Emperor cannot communicate with each other because one of them is in the kitchen and the other one's in the sky. So the kitchen god actually has to take some time off and to travel and deliver his report. That round trip takes about a week. So a week before New Year's or Tet, we were to give him a sizable farewell party so that we can get a favorable report from the Jade Emperor. And if you're wondering, our gods do take bribes. Afterwards, the kitchen god rides a carp that turns into a dragon and who flies into the skies, delivers the report, and comes back on his dragon carp just in time for our even larger welcome back party, so that we can kick the year off with a big bang and great luck for the next year's report. You might be wondering to yourself at this moment, what happens in the intervening weeks when the kitchen god isn't in the house? Can we just do whatever we want? You might be wondering to yourself, the same question I was when I was young. And my answer after this journey is, I don't know. I don't know, but I had to look it up, and the internet says that the family uses this time to clean the altars and the entire house, which could be related to another tradition where in the first 3 days of the new year, cleaning the house will give you bad luck, so it's better to start the year with a clean house. But I digress. Despite the traditions that we do and the beliefs that my parents had, I never really had a spiritual foundation. Yeah, God or gods or higher powers, or for me, something could exist. But I never prayed to anything, or anyone besides the exam seasons, I guess. Even though spiritually was literally around me in the house, I didn't have a spiritual home. In fact, I felt for a very long time after I moved to America, I didn't have a home at all despite living in a physical house. Whenever someone new meets me, they sometimes ask, "Where do you live, Tony?" And I can confidently tell them, yeah, I live at 4312 Rainier Street, apartment 114, or yes, I live across the highway where the big Walmart is. But whenever someone asks me, "Where's your home, Tony?" I don't know. I don't really have a home. It's back in Vietnam, I think, but it's been so long and I feel barely connected to it. Or at least that's what I wish I can tell them. I know they really meant the first question, "Where do you live?" But that was always the one simple question I internally struggled to answer. I realized in my teenagehood, a house doesn't mean a home. As time went by for myself, moving to a second high school, going to college, that notion really reinforced itself. My house was very close to the Tri-Point, and where 3 cities meet in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. My family lived in a suburb called Grand Prairie. I went to high school and shopped in another suburb called Mansfield. And I went to college and worked in Arlington, Texas, the home of Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers. Really, at some point, my life was split between 3 cities. And to make the case even worse, the house was about 20 yards away from where the county line that divides Dallas and Tarrant County, 2 counties with very, very different cultures that we found ourselves belonging nowhere in between. And I have to admit, on the surface, I was doing really well. I graduated high school with a pretty good GPA. I was getting all A's in architecture program in college. I was well liked in school, I think. Co-founded an organization advocating for active transportation that is still going strong. And even then, I still couldn't find anywhere to belong to. I felt like I really didn't belong in architecture school, and I didn't have friend groups, only individual friends. Doing work for my organization was great, but somehow it was still lacking. Was it the fact that my calling was in architecture, but in fact it was in urban planning? Maybe, but even being there, there was still something was missing. These things, they weren't home for me. They felt like work. I mean, there's a reason why Google Maps and Apple Maps have a tag for home and work, because they're supposed to be separate, right? Life was like that for about 9 years of my life in America, 9 years of not having a place to call home, despite coming back to the house and the dining table almost every night. The dining table was always there when I dined. It stuck with me in a state of constant identity crises. If this Björsta table had a personality, it probably didn't care about where it lives as long as it had a roof over itself. After 4 grueling years of architecture school, the job I was promised to have fell through, and I picked up another salary job that, in retrospect, barely related to anything I wanted to do. So I quit it soon after. This all happened in the middle of election year, and so, of course, without anything else to do, I poured my heart and soul into this 2024 election. We all know how it went. I was so lost that year. When you carry so much hope for the future professionally, electorally, and doesn't materialize, the feeling hits you like a truck. I've lost myself physically, emotionally, and even spiritually, if at all, ever. I felt the most lost. A week after the election, my ex told me he was moving to Chicago and needed a roommate. Of course, I said yes to moving because I didn't even know what else to do. Moving into with my ex was probably one of the worst decisions of my life. Do not recommend. At this point, there was so much uncertainty in my life besides this vague notion of grad school. But if I have to be honest, this time I fell into a deep, dark place that I should have never been in. Looking back, I hurt so many people and myself when I was lost. And I really do regret a lot of things I've done and wished I've never done. In my darkest moments, something came to me. It was my advice from my former professor, transportation planner, planning and zoning commissioner, and mentor extraordinaire Amber Rayleigh, who I hope is watching this. When I was doing organizing work for my organization in school and needing to build more clout in a conservative environment, she said this: there is a lot of social capital in being able to say my church. My church teaches me that we should love ourselves and love our neighbors. My church teaches me to protect democracy and advance liberty and peace. My church teaches me that public transit is a human right and we should build more apartments and missing middle housings to close the shortage. It doesn't matter what church you belong to when you're talking to a conservative Texans. You never have to mention it. But as an atheist and agnostic, you can find that in the Unitarian Universalist Church. I never went through it back then. First U of Dallas was too far for me, so I never went. But for whatever reason, strangely enough, in my darkest moments, the name First U Chicago came to me, and as it turns out, it was just 4 blocks away from where I had been staying. So David and I, we walked in. It was the usual, I'm sure everyone has experienced this before. Bobby greeted us and asked if we wanted to sign the card. We'll think about it later, and we sat down. But that day, something clicked. We cried at the service. I think it was actually during the Story for All Ages segment that was about feeling something clicking in you, something inside waking up. And thinking back about that day, I didn't find a higher power that day. It would be delusional to claim I walked in and saved by God, but that's not what happened. What happened was I found the beginning of a journey to home. I had found the seedlings of an accepting community, like-minded people searching for meaning beyond their own lives, trying to build something better in their communities and each other up. After years of trying to find myself and defining myself as who I was, how can I be to service to the universe and to the community that I find myself in? First, you really welcomed me and gave me something I never had living in the country. I felt ready to call this place home. Every Sunday we came back, we found something resonating with us, and we kept coming back. Bobby, of course, asked us to sign the card every time. And at some point, we relented. We're friends of that church at that point, at some point. We're like, yeah, we will sign the card. And then we became friends. We did the pledge, and then at some point I became a member, and now I guess we're on the worship program music committee. Highly recommend. As I approached this 10-year anniversary mark, I think back to the Kitchen God and his annual report to the Jade Emperor, where he reviews the domestic affair of the family. Take this sermon as my decennial report of my life. Here's what I learned. Home need not be a physical place. It arrives when you least expect it. Obviously, shelter matters. It's the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you believe in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But belonging sits far above that. And because belonging can be defined in so many ways, we can have multiple homes as well. I can't tell you Chicago's home for me quite yet. I don't know where we'll end up, but at least spiritually, I'm here. I'm nourished, not just by this beautiful neo-Gothic church, but by the people in it. I've seen myself growing here, and I like to think I've helped others grow as well. The dining table, in a way, was another thing looking for its home. It never sat still for more than 4 years as we moved around, but it participated in so many rituals of the household. That's where it was part of the big parties that we put up for the kitchen god. It was part of the parties where we threw death anniversaries for our ancestors. It was part of so many things. And I could tell you I let it go because of the space constraints of my living arrangements, but in retrospect, there's something more there. As I let go of this table, I'm letting go of the search for a physical home, because home is here. Home is here in community. For some of you, this might be an obvious realization that yes, home is truly a sense of belonging. But for others who may find themselves lost, I want to tell you this: have hope. If you haven't found home yet, who knows? Maybe home is just a few blocks away, just waiting for you. And join me in letting go of that search for that perfect home. Tony, where's your home? Here at First Year. Tony, where's your home on this next home on this weird journey on earth? I don't know. I don't know yet, but I'll tell you when it comes. Maybe so. Believing I was somehow unique, like a snowflake, distinct among snowflakes, unique in each way you can see. And now after some thinking, I'd say I'd rather be a functioning cog in some great machinery, serving something beyond me. But I don't know what that will be. I'll get back to you someday, soon you will see. What's my name? What's my station? Oh, just tell me what I should do. I don't need to be kind to the armies of night that would do such injustice to you, or bow down and be grateful and say, sure, take all that you see, to the men who move only in dimly lit halls and determine my future for me. And I don't know who to believe. I'll get back to you someday, soon you will see. If I know only one thing, it's that everything that I see of the world outside is so inconceivable. Often I barely can speak. Yeah, I'm turned, tired and dizzy, and I can't keep it to myself. What good is it to sing helplessness blues? Why should I wait for anyone else? And I know you will keep me on the shelf. I'll come back to you someday soon, myself. If I had an orchard, I work till I'm wrong. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore. And you would wait tables and soon run the store. Gold hair in the sunlight, my light in the dawn. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore. Someday I'll be like the man on the screen.
As we gather each week in worship, in this celebration of life, we bring our whole selves to share with one another our joys as well as our sorrows.
Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
This week, we lift up families who are grieving the loss of their loved ones from the continuation of war and the violence seen in their communities and schools. Human beings have a right to a safe, dignified life, a right that should be protected here at home, across our nation, and abroad. We also uplift those affected by natural disasters and hazards, such as our friends across the Atlantic from heat waves, our friends impacted by the smoke and wildfires to this day, and our friends still suffering the repercussions of earthquakes on their lives. We are interconnected, and what affects some of us affects all of us. lift up a joy from Alan. Happy birthday to Gina, his niece, turning 59, and Marcus, his son, turning 58. Congratulations to you and your family. We lift up another joy from Natasha Walker. With deep gratitude, I want to first shout out the first you participants in the March on Marquette Park last weekend. You showed up and showed out. Thank you, Natasha. We sure did. Another joy from Jan. Thank you to Corey and First You for providing more fans in the sanctuary. Can't argue with that. And now from Asar, a joy and a sorrow. My joy is that people are starting to resist the regime. My sorrow is that some of us don't know why. That is necessary. If you'd like to stop shielding yourself from the reality, come talk to me and let me quickly tell you about how the world around you works. We hear your passion and your frustration. And lastly, a sorrow from Cowardorn Dunnigan. I'm concerned about my one and only sister, Peggy Myers. She is pretty ill. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you.
Comfort me, O my soul.
We hold in our hearts our leaders in church and state, that they might find their way to wisdom and love. We hold in our hearts all who are working tirelessly for more justice and dignity, and that we might be strengthened and renewed in the work of birthing a new world. And finally, we lift up those whose names are on our hearts and minds. We speak them aloud into this space or silently in our hearts. For all the joys and sorrows of our community and of the world, those named and those held silently, those remembered and those forgotten, may we make space for them and keep them in our care.
Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Please rise in body or spirit for the singing of our sending hymn. It is number 407 in the gray hymnal, We're Gonna Sit at the Welcome Table. Again, that is 407 in the gray hymnal. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table.
I invite you to hold the hand of your neighbor. I leave you with a message, a simple message. May we all find belonging. May we all find joy in the belonging that we are in. May we all find an exciting journey on that search for home. Go in peace. May it be so.